what really separates creatives that are able to find success, which you can define in any which way,
Yep.
you know, for you. But if you want to make a career out of it and be able to sustain yourself through your art, I feel like the difference between creatives that make it there and don't is that devotion to the whatever it takes mentality,
Yeah.
and like working through all those feelings of self-doubt. And you know, just I've seen with my artist friends who like maybe take a break of not having made music for a little bit. They're doing their own thing, and then they come back and like, do I still got it? You know, like all these things that, and so looking back on those times where you've had those emotions, I guess what wisdom, any other thoughts you have when when that stuff comes up now of, yeah, imposter syndrome and all
Yeah.
these things?
I would say honestly, just do everything else besides whatever it is that you're like tripping about. So for me, it was, am I taking care of my body? You know, let's start there. Like, what are you eating? What time are you waking up? What routines do you have? Is it going to be yoga today? Is it going to be kickboxing? Like, put something on your schedule. Wake up every single day with some kind of purpose to do something healthy for your body. Food, workout, stretching, meditation, whatever it is. Do something for your body every single day. And once I started to get a routine back going with that, it was like, oh, duh, how could I forget that? Like, I do better when I feel better. It's just such a simple concept. But yeah, if you focus on every single thing else, then whatever you're worried about starts to figure itself out. So it started with making sure my body was good. And then once I like had those check-ins, then it was, all right, now when it comes to writing, like, don't put the pressure on it being like a song all the time. Like, what are your thoughts today? How do you feel today? What are you grateful for? What are your goals? Where do you want to be in the next however many years? Like, get back to writing just in general, like being in a creative writing class. Like, give yourself a prompt, do something that isn't just like, I need to make a song because I need to turn in this album. Like, leave that over there, come back to it later. So taking care of my body for sure, giving myself writing exercises for sure, and just being in student mode overall just helped me like get rid of whatever that stress was during that time. So if I needed to find a master class, a documentary, um, somebody else's album, a music video, it was just like get back into being a fan because you've been in the field for so long that it seems like you forgot what it's like to like find something new that has nothing to do with you and to just appreciate it and feel excited about that. So those are like a couple of things for sure. And I'm still in fan mode right now. Like the last 3 years, I feel like my curiosity just as far as other people has like gone back up, which was really what got me going in the first place. Like I remember doing my own thing and then discovering some of my favorite artists. Like I remember Frank Ocean in the beginning. I remember The Weeknd in the beginning and Janae Aiko and James Fauntleroy. And it was like all of these things that just excited me so much that I ran to work on my things. It was like, ooh, that gives me such a good feeling. I want to give that feeling to somebody else. So being back in fan mode the last few years has been like the upside to like everything that I've been doing creatively. Like I've just been going to concerts and what was it, day before yesterday? I went to a Clairo concert and I didn't hit anybody on the management side. I didn't want to bother anybody. I bought me a ticket on Ticketmaster. I put a scarf over my head, shades on my face, hat down low. I stood in the GA line outside, scanned my ticket to get in, and I just enjoyed the show by myself, took myself there, and just enjoyed myself in the crowd and watched the show from beginning to end. And like moments like those just remind me of how I felt in the very beginning. It was like, don't you ever like lose that feeling or let that feeling get away from you, because it's nothing more pure than just like being in a space that's safe and everybody's like feeling the same thing and the music is beautiful and it's about someone else, but you can relate to it. And yeah, like I need that, you know, in order to feel inspired. And I think I forgot it for a bit, but I'm back at the place where it's just like, nah, I need to be out here and I need to be outside, but not in that type of way. Like I want to go outside and like do something that just makes me feel good.
As you started to like discover the things that inspire you, the art and musicians, and then you started, you know, with your recent album, how do you navigate when your previous stuff has been so successful? It's like, in order for you to perceive your new thing to be successful, it has to be like a number one, you know? It's got to be so successful to reach the same level your other stuff has. And, you know, I've talked with my artist friends around this too, and it's such an interesting thing. Some people get crippled by, and just navigating past performance, comparing it with stuff you're gonna make.
Yeah.
How have you kind of eased some energy into that?
I've honestly just learned to let all of that shit go. Like,
Nice.
yeah, like at first, my first album, it didn't chart at the top of Billboard or nothing like that. It maybe sold like 10,000 copies first week. And, streaming on Apple Music and everything was doing really good. Like the attention was going up, but from a number standpoint, nobody could have called that like it was gonna go on to become like platinum. Like I wanted it to, but nobody could have just predicted that. That was just something that it was its own thing. It did exactly what it was designed to do, and a lot of that was out of my control. Like once I recorded it and put it out into the world, like it was up to everybody else to say, "This is something I appreciate so much that I want to share it," and then they share it, and then they share it, and then it turns into this like bigger thing. But um, it was nice to have that moment because it was just its own thing. And then the second album came around, and I think that was the one that just commercially felt like it checked all the label boxes. It was like you had a really great first week. It's number one on the R&B charts and da 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 da, and you got the feature with J. Cole and Future, and it was like it was a commercially satisfying album, and not from like a creative standpoint, but just a metric standpoint. It was like, okay, this is everybody's happy right now. Everybody who works on my shit right now is feeling like, oh yeah, we did
Yeah.
exactly what we were supposed to do. And then this one, the most recent one, was the one where I knew going into it, I'm like, I'm not making songs for radio. I'm not making songs for playlists necessarily. I'm not trying to service any specific like entity right now. I just have a journal entry that I want to put out. Like these are the things that I've been going through from the pandemic until now. These are the feelings that I'm wrestling with. This is the love that I'm trying to figure out. And I don't have any like grand or like specific expectation for it. It was just I just want to put it out. Like I just want to be honest, like we were talking about earlier. Just like I want to be able to say how I felt. I stayed true to it, and I gave people something that just like captured me in that moment. And that way I can, however many years can go by, and I can always feel like, oh yeah, that was what I was going through during that time. That was truth. That was honest. So with this one, I just took off all the expectations, and it made it a lot easier. It made it a lot more just fun for me to not care about what people are saying or not care about how they're ranking it or what they're comparing it to. It was just, you're not going to get this from anybody else. Like there's one me the same way that there's one you, the same way that there's one everybody else. It's like, this is me. I feel good about it. And that's the only thing that matters.